Konnichiwa, bitch.
Little mama off Danity Kane, been geeked up how many days? Yeah, what is the plan? You yapping, I'ma go in your face. Bruce Banner, how I handle the rage.
It is that time of year again, isn't it? End of the year lists. I'm like a week behind. Everybody drops theirs before Christmas, and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna wait until the new year actually begins. And yeah, we're here. I'm a little under the weather. You know, a goddamn polar vortex, you know, hit the Midwest. Now it's on the East Coast now. I know y'all feeling it. Going from 0 degrees to like straight, you know, 50s is, it sucks. It sucks, because now I have to deal with the sickness. But you know, we here with the top 25 list. This is a hip-hop centric list. I'm just going to say that right now. So if you don't see any, you know, non-hip-hop albums in here, just know, because I'm a hip-hop rap, you know, centric channel, that's just how it is. But I will shout out some non-hip-hop albums that I did really enjoy this year. First one being Don FM by The Weeknd. A few others we got is Capri Songs by FKA Twigs, SOS by SZA, Renaissance by Beyonce, and Hellfire by Black Midi. Enjoyed all of these albums, some more than others. Hellfire might be like peak music, like it might actually be like album of the year, but we also got Renaissance. You know, Beyonce never really misses. I like the dance, you know, electronic route that she went with that project, and it's Drake take notes. But now we're here, you know, with the top 25 hip-hop albums of the year. Prior to making this list, to be honest, I thought this year was kind of like mid, but then once I actually made the list, I realized, oh, wow, yeah, this year is actually pretty damn good. Because there was some peak that dropped this year. Great, phenomenal albums. And it's undeniable. Without further ado, let's get right into this, man. At number 25, we have Drill Music in Zion by Lupe Fiasco. Lupe is back with a Matrix-like, you know, utopian music concept. Definitely one of Lupe's strongest albums. I always find Lupe to be very, very inconsistent with his work, but this one right here, one of his most consistent works. Very short, straight to the point concept. He did his thing. At number 24, we have Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry. Denzel Curry's best album, I will say. When I did my first reaction to it, I didn't know what to think of it. I thought it was a good project, but I didn't think it was like as good as like Taboo or Imperial. Now re-listening to pretty much his whole discog is just like, oh yeah, this is easily his best album, his most dynamic album that he's dropped. Very reflective. I like the route that he went with this project, and I'm interested to see where he's going to go next. At number 23, we have 10 by Westside Gunn. What can I say? It's a Westside Gunn project, but this one is like a very, very good way to go out on his HWH series. Very, very explosive features on here. At number 22, we have something that dropped pretty recently. No Thank You by Lil Sim. This album definitely feels like a Sometimes I Might Be Introvert epilogue, but I definitely like, you know, it's more gospel vibes, especially in the latter half of the album. At number 21, this is a surprising one, because I didn't think I would like this album at all, but turns out I do. Love for Rent by Smino. Smino dropped a very, very good album, and Smino is like the complete package when it comes to an artist, you know what I mean? He can rap, he can sing, he can give you some great production, and it's all seen on here. I really like what he does with his production. He amplifies the bass lines in there with his samples and all that, and Smino's flows and his vocals on here are very great. When it comes to just making good, enjoyable music, like tracks like No L's, yeah, this was it. This was a very good album. At number 20, we have Tana Talk 4 by Benny the Butcher. It's a Benny the Butcher project. That's all I gotta say. Like I said with the Westside Gunn album, you get some very great highs that are some of his best work. Then you get, you know, same old Benny that you usually get. Benny's storytelling and how confident he attacks every single track is still going to be crazy to me. Tracks like Buster Breakneck is just like a perfect example of what Benny the Butcher is all about. At number 19, this might surprise a few people that I took this over all these prior albums, but I feel like Real Bad Flights by Pink Sifu and Real Bad Man is a very good collab project. Pink Sifu is kind of one of those rappers where he can bar you when he wants to, but then sometimes he is just going to vibe for the whole entire time, and it's going to be a slow burning track, you know what I mean? And he does that just on here, gives you that perfect balance, while Real Bad Man gives you his most dynamic beats yet. I truly feel like this is Real Bad Man's best performance by far. At number 18, we have the first Billy Woods album of 2, and that is Church. What can I say, man? Billy Woods is just the most consistent rapper pretty much ever. The fact that he has another album that is even better than this is absolutely crazy. Because this album right here in Church, though it's not doing anything different than what he's done before, I feel like there are some phenomenal highs on here. At number 17, we have Frank by Fly Anakin. Fly Anakin's debut project on Lex Records. And what can I say, man? He does deliver on here with the many different types of soul samples. Production is absolutely crazy on here. His writing on here is super dope, writing about love, black plight, and all that. Definitely a very great album. At number 16, we have Sold Separately by Freddie Gibbs. When I first heard this album, in my reaction, I thought this was a good album. There was moments on there that just didn't hit me. But the more I listened to this project, I just realized, you know, this is like probably his most personal work up to date. Though there are a few bad tracks on the album, I feel like for the most part, like, this is a very good Freddie Gibbs project. It's not as great as his collab albums, but this is definitely his best solo work. And I'm sorry, like, people are going to disagree with me. People think this is like one of his worst albums. No, you're literally wrong. At number 15, we have King's Disease 3 by Nas, the veteran in the game. Hit Boy gives his most explosive beats to Nas on this one, and how this starts and ends is absolutely ridiculous. And it's literally Nas, and this is like literally, I'm probably jumping out the window on that. No, I'm not. What the heck has done? What are we talking about? It has Reminisce. Yeah, it's top 3. Anyways, at number 14, we have... I put these two albums together because the ideas are basically the same. Just one is more explosive than the other, but it basically is a double album. We have Language Arts and Woeful Studies by Ka. I can only take Ka in doses, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, I've probably listened to these albums maybe like 3-4 times, because it's just too much for me. For the times I listened to them, God, these albums are great. Ascension, an amazing track. Woeful Studies as a whole piece of work, golly, beautiful, great album. And Ka is just, for his age, dropping a double album like this is actually pretty crazy, I can't even lie. One of the best lyricists ever, true poetry. At number 13, we have I Told Bessie by Elucid. One half of Arm & Hammer drops his solo project, the first one in a brick, at least from what I remember. And yeah, this is his most personal work yet. Spelling is a crazy song. There's so many great songs on here that I just can't explain, you know what I mean? Very personal work from Elucid, definitely a good tribute to his grandmother. And I can't wait to see where he goes next solo-wise. At number 12, we have It's Almost Dry by Pusha T. Pusha T, man, one of the greatest rappers ever, you know, makes an album with only Kanye and Pharrell production. You're just destined for greatness. I think a lot of the highs on this album are like some of his best highs. You know what I mean? Let the Smoker Shine the Coops, Dreaming of the Past. This album is great. I love the dynamics. I love how, you know, Pusha T was really tested artistically on this. Even though content might be the same, he definitely did some different stuff on here, I feel like. At number 11, There'll Be No Super Slave by Gaius Guevara. Got put onto his music this year. Haven't heard a single thing from him prior. I feel like the potential of what he can do in the future is absolutely crazy, but for what he gave us right here, such a dense piece of art, is crazy, you know what I mean? Lyrically, very unapologetic, in your face, aggressive, but has a lot of food for thought, you know what I mean? Bars in there are super witty, and then production. Some of the sample flips on here are absolutely stupid, you know what I mean? This album is great, and I can't wait to see what direction he's gonna go in next. At number 10, we have God Don't Make Mistakes by Conway the Machine, Conway's best album. One of the peaks of Griselda. Everything I like about Griselda, and then add in the emotional depth of this project. What can I literally say about this project that hasn't been said? Conway is in peak form right here. Production wise, it's absolutely crazy. You get your Derringer, you get your Alchemist, but then you also get producers like Justice League. up in here, and it's just kind of like, this is everything I wanted from a Conway the Machine project in 2022. At number 9, we have Sick by Earl Sweatshirt. Definitely one of the more underrated projects of the year, I feel like. I think because of the timing that it was dropped, I feel like it went under the radar for a lot of people, but I feel like this is like a good revamp of Earl Sweatshirt, you know what I mean? Definitely tell Earl is in a better place right now, mentally. And you get some of his most fun, bounciest songs to date. 2010, Sick, Titanic. Vision is an absolutely ridiculous track. You also get Tabula Rasa with Arm & Hammer on here as well. This album is short, straight to the point, and super, super fun, but also has a lot of depth to it. At number 8, we have rap MVP of this year. We have Cities of Eve with, hold on, this is a long-ass title. A working title for the album Secret Wars. Yeah. Cities of Eve drops 2 albums this year, one being peak and the other one being damn near just as good. Cities of Eve is the MVP of this year when it comes to amount of output and how quality, you know, those 2 projects are. I think I cried to like the first like 3 to 4 tracks. Like them tracks were so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Kind of sticks to his guns on this album, but is still pretty phenomenal. That's what I'll say. At number 7, we have the most recent album to drop, and is this recency bias? Absolutely. We got Beware of the Monkey by Mike. Probably my personal favorite Mike album to date. It's not his best project. I feel like May God Bless Your Hustle is his best album. Personally, and the time that it came out, and how it really hit me and hit my heart, this is probably my personal favorite Mike project to date. His most optimistic project, his most colorful project. Mike gives you a perfect showcase of what he's about. Really sticking to his guns on this project, but definitely sounds way more clear, way more polished, and what can I say? Great music. At number 6, we have Cheat Codes by Danger Mouse and Black Thought. Is this a match made in heaven? Like, what am I supposed to say about this album? Danger Mouse's production, his uses of samples, his definitely alternative side meshes in damn near perfectly with Black Thought. Black Thought is like the greatest rapper of all time, so I knew going into it this album was not going to be bad at all, but I think I underestimated how great it actually could be, and it exceeded my expectations, you know what I mean? Black Thought's writing is still going to be god tier every single time, and this album delivered on all fronts, from the features to just Black Thought's individual performance, and Danger Mouse creating a very dope, you know, aesthetic and foundation for Black Thought to just go absolutely nuts on. Speaking of albums that exceeded my expectations, The Forever Story by JID is at number 5. JID, JID, whatever you want to go with. This is definitely going down as a classic, like 100%. There's no denying how great this project is, and I feel like this is a perfect showcase of what JID is all about. From the flows to the production to just him lyrically, is like, this is all him, you know what I mean? I think he fleshes out every single topic on this project damn near perfectly. The pacing of this album is perfect. Like, I think the way this album is structured is something to behold, I feel like, because there was not one moment where I was bored or where I was losing attention. Like, this is, I'm gonna say this a lot when artists drop their magnum opus. I don't know how in the hell this man is gonna top this, but I'm interested and I'm here for it. JID on all fronts, you know, maximized his creativity and his potential on this project. At number 4, people are gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Jazz Codes by More Mother. Yes, this album is just so ethereal and takes you to a whole nother place. I don't even know how to explain this. This is like free jazz. This is like kind of like spoken word mostly, but the production, the sound palette of this project is like something I've never heard before. It's like looking at a sunset. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And how More Mother really fleshes out the concept and the history of the genre and all this, and how it's evolved and how it's expanded and influenced many other genres. Like, this album is very dense in what it presents, and More Mother she is probably the most underrated rapper right now, to be honest, because this album is absolutely like mind-blowing to me. At number 3, we have the rap MVP, Cities of Eve with Man Plays the Horn. Everything that I wanted in the Cities of Eve album comes here. Though it is 26 songs long and it's like an hour and like damn near 30 minutes, it's still peak. How this album starts with everything working on a natural time. Some of the biggest music highlights for me this whole entire year. There's not much I can say with Cities of Eve when it comes to his writing style, when it comes to his production style. How he raps on there and sometimes he vibes and floats and lets the production breathe, I think is like something that a lot of artists should take notes of, especially producer rappers. If I say Jazz Codes takes you to another dimension, this takes you to, I don't know, the goddamn Twilight Zone. I don't even know what to tell you. Like, at number 2, we have Ethiops by Billy Woods, all produced by Preservation, like I said earlier, with Church. One of, if not the best rappers out right now. And this one here is his best album, and it's like one of the best rap albums I've ever heard. Everything about this album is phenomenal. From the features to the production to Billy Woods' performance. This thing is super dense, this thing is super heavy. This is like a history lesson, you know what I mean? This is like definitely taking a look back at going on a whole time machine of generational trauma, you know what I mean? And how Billy Woods fleshes this out in a way I've never heard before is absolutely crazy to me. Everything that we know Billy Woods as, he literally maximizes it. What can I say? This is easily his best work. And at number 1, we got Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. This album is definitely a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. Like I said with the prior album with Billy Woods, talking about generational trauma, but in a very abstract way, in a very time machine, history lesson-esque way. Kendrick Lamar presents those same ideas, but through his perspective and through his, experiences. I feel like the emotional depth of this project is super, super heavy, and this album just hit me in a way that just no album did at all. What he said on this album and what he's been going through, it was a phenomenal check-in. Listen to United in Grief in the Heart Part 5, and you can get a perfect glimpse of what I'm talking about. Instrumentally, this album is super ridiculous. There are some things I said in my review when this album first dropped that I was pretty off on. I definitely do disagree with. I feel like there's no bad track on here. I feel like the flow of this album is perfect. I feel like how this album mirrors one another, each disc, I think is phenomenal. Some of his most potent songwriting to date. Not his most, because, T-Pab exists, but this is probably my second favorite Kendrick Lamar album. Like, on all fronts. When it comes to enjoyability, when you get your bangers on here, but then you also get your very introspective cuts, you get that perfect balance, I feel like. There's not much I can say about this album that hasn't been said before that everybody's talked about, but I really, really do love how introspective and personal he was on this, and it really, really hit my heart a lot on this project. I don't see any way he could have done better. Like, this was it. Everything about it, top to bottom, features and all. And that is my album of the year. I'll leave it at that. Those are my thoughts. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, subscribe for more. Let me know your guys' list in the comments below. See you on the next one. Peace, love.